The handheld gaming war has reached its most intense stage in 2025. Just a few years ago, handheld gaming was seen as a niche hobby, something dominated by the Nintendo Switch and a handful of retro emulators. But today we have three heavyweights competing for the top spot: the ROG Ally, the MSI Claw, and the Steam Deck OLED. Each promises power, portability, and an experience close to desktop PC gaming, all packed into your hands. But only one deserves to be in your backpack this year. So, which handheld gaming device truly wins in 2025? Let's break it all down. Why handheld gaming exploded. To understand the battle in 2025, we need to rewind. Handheld gaming has always been around, from the Game Boy in the 90s to the PlayStation Portable in the mid-2000s. But for years, it was defined by compromise, weak performance, poor graphics, and watered-down versions of console games. That all changed when Valve shocked the industry with the Steam Deck in 2022. Suddenly, gamers could run real PC titles on the go. This wasn't just a Switch-like device for casual play, it was a true portable PC, optimized for gaming. By 2025, the trend snowballed. Laptops had grown powerful but bulky, and desktop rigs became too expensive and stationary. Gamers wanted freedom, to play Cyberpunk 2077 on a train, to run Elden Ring at the airport, or to grind through indie titles in bed without booting up a massive tower. Portability, power, and versatility became the holy trinity. That's why handheld gaming exploded. Valve's Steam Deck sparked it. Asus jumped in with the ROG Ally, and MSI entered the fight with the Claw. Now we're looking at the fiercest handheld gaming war in history. The contenders. So who are the warriors in this battle? First up, the ROG Ally. Asus has been pushing into the gaming handheld market with a sleek, powerful Windows device that looks and feels like a premium piece of hardware. It's lightweight, compact, and built for gamers who demand raw power. But it also comes with a price, both literally and in terms of trade-offs like battery life. Then comes the MSI Claw, the newest fighter in this arena. It's powered by Intel, marking a shift from the AMD dominance seen in other handhelds. MSI is betting on driver improvements and Intel's recent leap in graphics to put it on the map. It's fresh, it's ambitious, and it's trying to carve its own space among giants. Finally, there's the Steam Deck OLED. Valve took its fan-favorite Steam Deck and supercharged it with a gorgeous OLED display, improved efficiency, and refinements to battery and cooling. The original Steam Deck already had a loyal fan base. Now, with the OLED version, Valve is doubling down on its biggest advantage: the ecosystem. The SteamOS experience is polished, optimized, and made for seamless handheld gaming. 3 devices, 3 strategies. But only one can truly dominate 2025: gaming performance. Let's talk performance, the reason most gamers care about these machines. The ROG Ally is easily the powerhouse here. Equipped with a strong AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme chip, it can push higher frame rates in AAA titles compared to its rivals. Games like Cyberpunk and Starfield run smoother on the Ally, provided you don't mind the fans spinning up and the battery draining at record speed. It's a beast when plugged in, but its performance per minute on battery isn't always ideal. The Steam Deck OLED doesn't win on raw power, but it does on consistency. Valve's software optimizations make the most of the hardware. Games that stutter on Windows handhelds often feel smoother on the Steam Deck. Indie games shine, emulation is fantastic, and even demanding titles hold up surprisingly well thanks to Valve's constant patches. It's less about brute force, more about smart efficiency. As for the MSI Claw, it's a mixed bag. On paper, the Intel-powered system should compete closely with the Ally. But drivers and optimization issues drag it down. Games sometimes perform inconsistently, and bugs pop up where they shouldn't. It's a reminder that entering the handheld arena isn't just about shoving a powerful chip into a shell, it's about optimizing the entire experience. So, if you're chasing maximum FPS at any cost, the Ally is your friend. If you want smoother, stable, more reliable gaming, the Steam Deck OLED often feels better. The Claw sits somewhere in between, full of promise but not always delivering. Battery and portability. Of course, performance means nothing if your device dies in 2 hours. Battery life is the Achilles heel of all handheld gaming PCs, and here's where the differences really matter. The ROG Ally can barely manage 2 hours of heavy gaming without plugging in. It's fine for short bursts, but long commutes or flights? Forget it. The MSI Claw isn't much better. In fact, sometimes it's worse depending on optimization. The Steam Deck OLED, however, makes a strong case. Thanks to Valve's efficiency tweaks and the OLED display, lighter games can push up to 5 hours of playtime. Even heavier titles run for longer compared to its rivals. It's not perfect, but it's far more practical. When you're traveling or lounging, the Steam Deck OLED is the one most likely to stay alive long enough to matter. And portability isn't just about battery. The ergonomics of these devices make a huge difference. The Ally feels light and modern in the hands, with a premium vibe. The Claw is comfortable too, but slightly bulkier. The Steam Deck OLED remains chunky, but the curved grips and balanced weight make it comfortable for long sessions. Valve clearly prioritized usability over sleekness. Ecosystem and features. The ecosystem may be the most underrated factor in this war. With the ROG Ally and MSI Claw, you're essentially running Windows in your hands. That means flexibility. You can install anything, from Epic Games to Xbox Game Pass to mods. But that flexibility comes with headaches, updates, driver crashes, and software that wasn't designed for tiny screens. For many, it feels like using a laptop shrunk into a handheld body. The Steam Deck OLED, by contrast, runs on SteamOS. This is Valve's masterstroke. The system is streamlined, intuitive, and designed for gaming first. Steam's massive library is fully integrated. Proton compatibility lets you play most Windows games with ease, and the UI is optimized for handheld controls. It's not as flexible as Windows, but it's vastly more user-friendly. For the average gamer, it just works, and that reliability often outweighs raw performance. The Ally and Claw might lure in tinkerers who want ultimate control, but for most players, the Steam Deck ecosystem is where convenience meets quality. The flaws. No device escapes flaws, and in 2025, each contender carries its own weaknesses. The ROG Ally has incredible power, but its battery is laughably short, and the Windows ecosystem can feel clunky. The MSI Claw has exciting potential, but immature drivers hold it back from being a serious challenger today. And the Steam Deck OLED, while consistent, is capped by its hardware. It will never match the raw power ceiling of the Ally. The truth is, none of these handhelds is perfect. Each requires compromise. The question isn't which device is flawless, it's which set of flaws you're willing to live with. Final verdict. So, who wins the handheld war of 2025? For gamers obsessed with maximum power and willing to deal with limitations, the ROG Ally is your weapon. If you value stability, ecosystem, and battery, the Steam Deck OLED reigns supreme. The MSI Claw is exciting, but at this stage it feels like a promising rookie that needs another year or two of refinement before it can truly compete. If I had to crown a winner, it would be the Steam Deck OLED. Not because it's the strongest, but because it delivers the most complete experience for the most gamers. It's consistent, reliable, and backed by Valve's growing ecosystem. For most people, that balance makes it the real victor of 2025. Before you buy a handheld this year, know what you're getting into. Every choice comes with trade-offs. I've linked the best deals and bundles in the description, updated monthly. Click now so you don't waste money on overpriced hype, and let me know in the comments, which handheld would you pick in 2025? Join the conversation and subscribe to Future Unboxed so you don't miss the next big battle in gaming tech.